Welcome, students. I'm so glad that each of you is here today. I'm sure you have had all kinds of other things that you could be doing today, and yet you chose to come to church today. And I would assume many of you went through some weird experiences today. Just getting to church in kind of one piece has been a huge accomplishment. I mean, maybe you had a massive hair emergency today. Trust me, I feel your pain. Maybe Dutch Bros it wasn't open yet when you started to come to church. That's a huge emergency. Or maybe your brother or sister just got on your last nerve and you had the argument to end all arguments. And you felt if you showed up to church, the walls would cave in because of what you said to them. In any case, you made it. And in spite of these crazy morning experiences, you're still here. Well done. I am so glad you're here today. And I'm really glad because you get to continue on this journey with us in this great series that we're in here today. I hope all of you have enjoyed this series as much as I have so far. Yes, even though I'm not in student ministries every single day, I've still been watching these series. You see, I've been watching it because this series has been all about what I am passionate about. Pastor Ben spoke about our passions in week 2 of this series, and we heard from some different youth mentors about what they were passionate about. Some were passionate about sports, some were passionate about food, some were passionate about helping those who had experienced divorce in families. Well, for me, I'm passionate about differences in people. You see, I love to meet new people and just find out their story, what they've been through. I am passionate about helping people see that God made each of us very different and unique, and how that's a very good thing, not a bad thing. You see, this world would be the most boring world ever if we were all created to do exactly the same thing. So I love our differences, and I am so excited to be a part of people's lives to help them realize that our differences are the very thing that God wants to use to help others in this world. You see, I'm different. I have less hair than probably most of you, as you can tell. I have a crooked nose, as you've probably noticed. My ears, they're 2 different sizes. Yeah, keep looking for that one. I'm 6'2", probably taller than most of you that are sitting in this room right now. And these are just a few differences, but they're just scratching the surface on how I'm different. But there is so much more. You see, these past few weeks, we have talked about our differences and what we are passionate about, and what abilities we have, and what different personalities that we have. But today, we're going to talk about the thing that I personally believe maybe the glue that holds all of our differences together, and maybe even the thing that drives everything we do and say or believe in our life. Okay, maybe that's really putting a lot of pressure on me to deliver today, but let's see. You see, today we're going to talk about something that makes us different that you may not even realize. But I don't want to just start out with talking to you. I want you to do something first to get an idea of what it is that we will talk about today. So we're going to do this little exercise. So right now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your bottom lip and I want you to rub it on this top row of teeth, just like this. Yeah, everybody in the room, I want you to start doing it. I know it's weird. I'm going to keep talking. I want you to keep doing that. Bottom lip, teeth. Okay? Yeah, it's weird, but everyone else is doing it, so it's okay. As you're doing this, do you feel all the ridges on your teeth? Can you feel maybe any spaces in between your teeth? Can you feel any teeth that are smoother or rougher than others? All right, so just remember that. I want you to remember what you felt on your bottom lip as you rubbed it on your teeth. I want you to remember how you felt those teeth. And this time, I want you to take now your teeth. You don't have to pull them out unless you have dentures. That'd be weird. But anyway, I want you this time to rub those teeth on the top of your arm, just like this. Yep, that's right. Do the same thing, arm, teeth. But instead of your lip rubbing there, I want you to make sure that that arm is feeling it, okay? Now, do you feel those same ridges? Do you feel the grooves in your teeth? Did you notice those same feelings that you felt when you had your lip on your teeth compared to your arm? Well, of course not. You couldn't feel any of those things on your arm there. You couldn't feel your teeth at all. Do you know why this is? Well, it's because there are way more sensors to feel things in your lips than there are in your arms. Now, I could have just told you that right away from the beginning, and I could have just talked to you about that there are way more sensors in your lips than there are in your arms. But that would have been boring. I mean, all of you would have fallen asleep, and those of you who would have stayed awake would most likely not have believed me anyway. But now, I'd be willing to bet that a few of you will actually tell your friends about this at school next week. I know. And there may even be a lot of you who are going to tell your parents about this as well. Why? I mean, because it's the most amazing thing in the world? Or because I'm really the greatest person you've ever heard speaking? Well, no, not even close. It's because you just had an experience. That's right, an experience. You see, experiences change everything. Experiences bring new meaning to everything that we do. I'm going to argue today that our experiences in life are the very thing that have been driving a lot of what we do and what we say. You see, experiences, whether we like it or not, are powerful. And they are the things that we remember almost more than anything else. Experiences shape us. And in fact, I want you to write that down in your notes right now. Experiences shape us. You just had an experience a few moments ago. Prior to that experience, you may have thought that your arm had more sensors, or that your lips really didn't have much to do with feeling or sensing things. But now, because of that experience, your life is shaped differently. Things are no longer the same. You see, this is the beautiful part about each of us being made differently. Every one of us with our passions and abilities and personality has had experiences. These experiences can sometimes give us meaning in life. These experiences can shape our personality and open up passions that we never thought we even had before. Personally, I know that I love to have fun, a lot of fun. And I know that one of the best places that I've had some of the most fun in my life is Disneyland. Maybe you have too. But to me, it is one of the greatest places on earth. Why? Because I have experienced Disneyland. I've been on the rides. I've eaten the churros. I've seen the amazing light shows that they put on in the evening. It has been an amazing experience in my life. But this experience at Disneyland doesn't tell me that the only place I can have fun is at Disneyland. No. The Disneyland experience just lets me know that I like to have fun. And Disneyland is one place to have fun. But I've learned I can literally have fun anywhere. Because while our experiences may shape us, they do not define us. In fact, I want you to write that down as your next fill-in, that our experiences do not define us. So at this point, you may be thinking, wait a minute, what's the difference between our experiences shaping us versus defining us? Doesn't that kind of sound like the same thing? Well, how do we know the difference? You see, it's a great question that you just thought. There's an easy way to know if our experiences are defining us instead of shaping us. You see, if an experience is defining you, then it is the reason you do or don't do everything in life. It controls your decisions, it controls your thoughts, and everything that you have. So for example, if you had an experience of, maybe when you were younger in first grade, you went to school and you had a shirt with a small little hole in it. You saw it when you put it on in the morning, but you didn't really care about it because you really liked the shirt and it just fit the way that you like and what you wanted. So a small hole in it really didn't matter to you at all. But when you got to school, your best friend saw that hole in your shirt and pointed it out immediately. You brushed them off and you went on to your next class, and in it your teacher saw the hole, and that teacher made a comment about it and asked if, maybe you forgot to do your laundry since you had to wear this shirt with a hole in it. And this continued all day long, every single class. And it seemed like every person you saw that day asked why you had a shirt with a hole in it. You came home exhausted and frustrated that your day was such a crazy experience, and you were now maybe even very mad at yourself for letting this happen, and maybe even kind of thinking of yourself as a horrible person for even letting it happen. And from that day forward, when you pulled any shirt off of your hanger out of your closet, you looked over it 5 times, you checked for any holes, and when you used the restroom at a school or anywhere else, you looked in the mirror checking for holes or anything that may be wrong. You asked your friends 2 or 3 times a day, hey, is there anything wrong with my shirt? Anything going on? You continue to do this all throughout high school and every part, even though that day that you had with the hole in your shirt was back in the 1st grade. You see, that's an experience that defines you. It controls your thoughts, it controls your actions, and all that you do. But our experiences, they're not meant to control us. They're only meant to shape us. They're only meant to be part of our lives. They're not meant to be the driving force in our lives. You see, this part may be just a lot of help to some of you here today. Because as we've talked about these silly experiences of sensors in our lips or fun experiences like Disneyland or maybe even small ones like holes in shirts, there may be some of you that are sitting here thinking, yeah, but what about these really painful and horrible experiences that I've had? Experiences that are much worse than what we've talked about. Maybe you've experienced your parents getting a divorce. Or maybe you've experienced a life-threatening illness or injury. Or maybe right now you're currently going through an experience of maybe depression or anxiety or just some extreme loneliness. And maybe those experiences seem to be consuming you right now. It's all you think about when you wake up, when you go throughout your day, and the thoughts of those experiences are actually keeping you from doing anything in life. In fact, maybe even some of those very painful experiences are the reason why you're trying so hard to be someone else. You're doing everything you can to try to be like everyone else, to be normal, to fit in, to just be accepted. And I don't know, maybe when Pastor Ben started off this entire message series and he made that very powerful and important statement that we are all made to be different, which means you can't do anything you want. Maybe that statement, when he made it, it bothered you when you heard it. You see, you may have hated that statement because right now, you are desperate to just be like everybody else, to try to blend in, to try to make sure that these painful experiences that you're having will just hopefully fade away and no one will notice them and they just won't bother you anymore. Well, whatever you've been experiencing or are experiencing right now that is so painful, I just first want to say, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that it hurts. I'm so sorry that this experience has been so painful for you. But I want you to know it does not define you. You see, this experience will shape you, but it does not define you. You see, myself personally, I had one of these experiences. When I was 19 years old, in my very first year of college, I found a lump on my left ear, and this is going to explain why my ears are 2 different shapes. But I went to the doctor to take a look at this lump and have it removed. I didn't think much of it until my doctor called a few weeks later, and he had said, hey, why don't you come on in? And so I went into the office and I listened as my doctor said that it was cancer. And now I needed to start a treatment process to hopefully remove all of it and get it all taken care of. He said hopefully it wasn't too late. I gotta be honest, in that moment, that was a scary experience, one that I absolutely hate. And for the next 10 years afterwards, I had surgeries, I had procedures, I had doctor's appointments, all trying to take care of this cancer that I had. Today, praise God, I am cancer-free. God has chosen to heal me and to bring me through one of the scariest experiences I have ever had. I have survived cancer. But this is an experience I have had. It has shaped who I am. But it does not define who I am. Okay, so how has it shaped me? Well, a few ways. I mean, when I go into any doctor's office for any reason, I get nervous. I have anxiety. I mean, I remember every part of my 10-year experience with cancer. And so when I get blood drawn for any reason, I don't like it. I don't like needles at all because I have had a ton of needles that have been stuck into me for blood work. And so I don't like any of it. That's how it's shaped me. I have those experiences. But also now, in my job as a pastor here, when someone stops me in the lobby and they say that they need prayer because they just heard from their doctor that they have cancer, I'm immediately connected to them. I feel their pain. I feel the anxiety that they're going through. I can speak directly into the place of where they're at. I can bond with them. I can maybe even comfort them better than maybe anybody else who hasn't had the experience of cancer, because my experience has shaped me. God uses me in those moments to be there for people. You see, He uses me in those moments to walk alongside them, to have compassion for them, to be there for them, to care for them. You see, I am passionate about helping people who are hurting, all hurting people, not just those with cancer. You see, God has given me abilities that allow me to read people quickly and to know that they are hurting. I have a very outgoing personality that lets me enjoy being with all kinds of people. But my experiences of hurt and pain that I've gone through with cancer and other areas of my life, all those things that I've gone through, those experiences allow me to live out my passion for those who are hurting in every area of life. When I hear of people who are dealing with cancer, my experience of cancer immediately connects me to them. See, that's what our experiences do. Our experiences automatically create a bond with each other that allows us to hear each other, allows us to connect with each other. In fact, that's your next fill-in. Our experiences connect us. They connect us together. The problem I had right after finishing my cancer treatment was that I hated the experience so much I avoided it at all cost. Because right afterwards, it defined me. If I saw a movie or a TV show that had someone with cancer in it, I didn't watch it. If I heard someone had cancer, I avoided them. Wouldn't even go near them. If someone asked me about my cancer treatments, I quickly changed the subject. I wanted nothing to do with it because I was still operating out of a mindset that my experience with cancer was defining me. It was controlling and consuming me. I labeled myself as I'm a cancer man. I'm a cancer survivor. That's who I am. That's how I'm defined now. That's all of it was just in my own mind, and I hated it. And so I was doing all I could to run away from it. But the only thing it did was make me work really hard at trying to be someone other than who I was created to be. I was trying to be someone else, to live a different life. I was trying to be like other people who didn't have cancer, but I couldn't get away from it. It only left me isolated and alone. There were so many people who were trying to connect with me by hearing about my cancer experience or just wanting to share their cancer experience. And I didn't let them because I avoided them. You see, people wanted to connect with me, and I wasn't even giving them the chance. It even got to the point where I avoided people who just wanted to connect with me to check in on how I was doing. They didn't even have cancer. They just wanted to see what I was doing. Anyone that wanted to talk about my cancer, I avoided them. And I was missing out on so many connections and relationships. You see, your life is full of these experiences. Some are amazing. They are fun, Disneyland, exciting experiences. But some of them are painful. They're painful cancer experiences. But they are all experiences that God has allowed you to have. These experiences have shaped you, but they haven't defined you. Your experiences are to be used to connect with others. Listen to what one of the authors in the Bible writes about. You see, this author is named Paul, and he wrote a letter to a church that had some people going through some very, very difficult circumstances. Listen to what he says. In 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3, he says, "All praise to God and Father of our Master, Jesus the Messiah, Father of all mercy, God of all healing counsel. He comes alongside us when we go through hard times. And before you know it, He brings us alongside someone else who is going through hard times so that we can be there for that person, just as God was there for us. We have plenty of hard times that come from following the Messiah, but no more so than the good times of His healing comfort. We get a full measure of that too. You see, there are two things that stand out to me from this writing. One is that God comforts us. Anything we're going through, He comforts us. He is with us when we go through difficult, painful experiences. It may feel like you're alone, but you're not. God is with you, which may bring up a different question in your mind. Why can't God just keep me from having any bad experiences? You see, that's because of the second thing from this passage. It's that not only is God with you in your difficult experiences, but now you're able to be there for others as they go through these difficult experiences as well. You get to use your experiences to connect with others. You see, our experiences are so crucial. Just like the early experience of finding out that our lips have more sensors than our arms do, it's time to see all of our experiences, good and bad, it's time to see all of them as gifts. They are gifts that help you connect with others. They are gifts that help you to care for others. And they are gifts that help others care for you. You see, it's through these gift of experiences that we not only get to connect with people, but we get to connect with God as well. And the way to use this gift of experiences is simple and very difficult. We need to accept them. We need to accept your experiences. We can't run from them. We can't avoid them. We can't be angry that we have them. We just have to let them shape us. You see, we have to let God use our experiences to be these tools that connects us to people, to everyone around us, and connect us to Him. You see, you are made different. You are passionate about certain things in this life. God has created you with specific abilities. You've been given a personality that fits you perfectly. And God has given you these amazing gifts with your experiences so that you can connect with others, to care for them, to walk alongside them. And in each of your experiences, God is with you. You were made to be different. You've been given these incredible experiences, some fun, some not so fun, but all are for a purpose, and that's a really good thing.